He's fighting in the UFC on 2 weeks' notice. 20 years in the making. Colby Thicknesse. We've got him here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion. Not even backstage, we're literally outside.
Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because...
Welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitch Tilley, and what an interview we have. What a story. Boy, do we love mixed martial arts in Australia. Colby Thicknesse, 7-0, current Hex bantamweight champion and training partner of UFC great Aleks Volkanovski. He has had an opportunity thrust upon him. The news of Cody Haddon falling injured against Aleks Topuria. He is out, fracture in his foot. He will be out for many, many weeks, and it was a really sad time for UFC 312 February 9th in Australia. But just like his teammate, he is always ready to go and stepping up on short notice. In steps Colby Thicknesse. He has been training since I think he was 13 at Freestyle MMA, been training martial arts since he was 6. He's been seriously the main training partner for Aleks Volkanovski, the former UFC featherweight champion. Colby Thicknesse has been ready for a very long time. He's now stepping up to take on Aleks Topuria, who is Ilia Topuria's brother. Ilia Topuria, of course, the man that took the title from Aleks Volkanovski. So, you know, it's not just fighting, or as the great Khabib Nurmagomedov once said, big drama show. There is a lot of storyline in this. It's awesome. It's poetic. It's why we love the sport. Honestly, Colby has been highly touted for a very, very long time. His last 3 fights have not been against sort of the caliber that we have come to expect, but you know, we've addressed that in previous interviews. But every man and his dog, everyone that ever drops into freestyle MMA says that Colby Thicknesse is the hardest worker in the room and probably one of the best. So for him to finally get his opportunity, like we said, based on skill alone, everyone is looking forward to seeing what Colby can do, and he's going to prove a lot of people wrong, not just in the world, but even in his own country. It's a storyline set for greatness. We talk about the fact that never has a debutant versus debutant fight ever had this much hype and this much storyline going. And there's pressure for both boys, Thicknesse and Toupuria, as they're not just fighting for themselves. You know, it's almost like a light title fight, if you will, you know, with bragging rights on the line for Volkanovski and Toupuria. So, look, it's a very interesting fight. UFC 312 in Sydney. Colby talks about how the fight came about, how the deal happened, what's in the deal, what we can expect for him, what he was doing when he got the call. Look, it's a great interview. It's going to be a great fight to watch, regardless of how you feel. Support the man, support the boy. Look, that's why I love the sport. Look, let's hear from our friends at Vex, who's also a friend of Colby Thicknesse. And on the other side, he's debuting UFC 312 I have CTE. He's debuting UFC 312 February 9th in Sydney. Ladies and gentlemen, Colby Thicknesse.
Vex MMA has officially teamed up with PRP Global, and their brand new website is now live. Head over to Vex MMA to check out their latest gear, perfect for fighters and fans alike. Whether you're stepping into the cage or just repping the lifestyle, Vex MMA has you covered.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. He's now a big deal. He's bigger than me. I'm glad I could get him on. I don't know how I got through his managers, but it's Colby Thicknesse, mate. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on, Mitch. And yes, big deal now. First big deal who didn't win an award last year to get signed.
Oh, that's true. That's only because you were just beating up Bali. But, but look, but what a weird ride. I mean, you've gone from... It felt like we were like, okay, look, we know Colby's going to be a star, but even you said it in our past interview. Like, you were kind of in this weird spot where, like, no one wanted to fight you. You're getting these shitty fights that you don't really want, but you have to take type thing. To now, you get the opportunity you've always wanted. If I can take you back to
sort of those Kangoo fight nights, you finish those type thing. Did you really think the UFC would be calling in February?
Not necessarily. I didn't think they'd be calling for like a direct contract, but for this situation, we pretty much planned for. So I've been in camp for the past 6 weeks since the Cody and Toupuria fight got announced. So we knew that because I was number one. If one of them fell out, I'm very high chance of getting slotted in. So come last Saturday night, we got that phone call. That's exactly what happened.
It's so wild because it's like that shit doesn't really happen anymore. You normally have to go through the contender series and all that sort of stuff. Did you really think it was a possibility though that you could just get the straight call up?
Yeah, well, realistically, I knew if somebody was injured in that fight, most people won't travel on short notice. One, because of time zone to fly in Australia, and two, because of the taxes, they don't want to lose half the purse just to fly here. And like 2 weeks' notice against a tough opponent, losing 50% of your money. There's not many guys who are already in the UFC who would fight a guy on debut to do that. So I thought if the stars align and something happens, there's definitely a way I can get in.
So do you reckon if Aleks Topuria was hurt, you reckon you would have fought Cody Haddon?
Realistically, I reckon it's probably a high possibility, yeah. I reckon there's nobody else would have wanted to fly to Australia to fight. And if they wanted to save a fight, they would have done that.
That would have been sick.
Yeah. So next main event is some of UFC.
Well, that's already happening with Kevin Jusay and
Jono,
yeah.
Yeah, good point.
So I love about that. Well, I mean, talk us through it. I mean, everyone thinks that this is how I'd imagine that the outside public thinks of how this went. Is that he got hurt. Aleks Volkanovski just picks up the phone. He calls Dana and he goes, "I got a guy." And then Dana calls you and goes, "You're in," and then you're in. Is that how it happened?
Nah, completely different. Completely different. So, I was in my car, working a security shift, like 10-hour static shifts, watching the school site, and then got some Uber Eats. Then I like finished listening to the Hottest on 100. Had like 2 hours left on my shift, and then this dude messaged me on Instagram, "Hey, how are ya?" And like I go through his profile, I see photos of like Ilia and everything. I'm like, dig a bit. I'm like, all right, it's his manager. He was like, "Hey, what's your WhatsApp?" I gave him my WhatsApp, and then he just called me straight away, FaceTime. As soon as I'm like, "Sorry, bro, like I'm at work, can I keep this short?" Said what happened, and he's like, "If you can get your guys in touch with the UFC, let them know where Alexander is already here. Nobody's gonna want to fly and fight him. So if you try and get yourself in that way." So they gave me a heads up. I rang Joe and Volk. They were in New Zealand. I went to bed, then Sunday morning I woke up and like pretty much just a done deal.
So basically, you have Aleks Topuria to thank.
In a sense, yes. Well, his manager, yeah. He
So-
started it. He reached out.
Ilia, in a way, you know me, I don't like to stir shit, but in a way, Ilia Topuria has done more for you than Aleks Volkanovski.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
I don't know.
Because as soon as I rang Joe, Volk was with him, so Volk started talking to Sean straight away. So they got it done through that aspect of it. So it was good. So it was like 5 minutes. So like, yep, sent out the messages and I woke up, went to bed, woke up next morning. And it's like, yeah, it's all sorted. Volk spoke to Sean overnight and it's gone ahead.
They already knew who you were, correct?
Correct, yeah. Since it was about 5-0, we've been in like touching base with them after all my fights and that.
Do you think that they were already thinking that? Or do you think like Topuria's camp like just helped spark it? Or do you think like Sean Shelby was like kind of like, nah, that was always a plan?
I'm not sure, to be honest, because the Toupuria's manager actually reached out to like I totally reached out to like Frank Hickman asked me. Like
Really?
Frank Hickman asked for my contact details because they obviously just once the new code was out, they just sussed out the region, see who was a top, and just wanted to find ways to get to me. But I was bored at work, so obviously I responded straight away. So good thing I did. There's one message I don't want to leave unread.
Well, that's the funny thing too. It's like, so everyone always gets sort of shocked as to why, like, you know, big stars check their DMs. It's because you never know what's in there.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, what was it? It was like you got DMs, then you got requests, and then you got like hidden requests.
Yeah.
It wasn't like my hidden request. I have to go like deep to find it. And like, good thing I
Really?
did. Yeah,
With all the porn links.
exactly right. Over there. Hey, how are you? I thought it was just another blue tick scam when it first came through. I was like, oh, I'll just suss it out anyway. And good thing I did.
That's so great. So how's it worked in the sense of, because I think people, you know, going back to almost the original point, is people think like you getting in is somehow like a little bit easier because of having Volk, right? But it doesn't impact it too much at all, does it?
No. So I'm pretty sure even this one is just a one fight deal. So I'm just signed to this event to fight him. Then I have to win this fight, and then they'll obviously extend the contract and everything like that. like that. So it's not like you're just in, you've done this, you get 4 fights. Like, no, hey, you've got to beat this guy to prove you're sort of worth it here.
How does that feel when you've got like all the pressure in the world?
I like it because it's like having like a Dana White Contender Series fight, but instead of having to go to Vegas, I could just do it in Sydney in front of a hometown against somebody I don't really like. So like, it's great.
Do you not like him?
No. No, he's probably a good guy, but obviously, like there's a rivalry there, the Topuria versus Freestyle rivalry. It's gonna change tides come next Sunday.
But he got you in the UFC.
No, he didn't. Volkanovski and Joe, they got me for UFC.
I'm waiting for you to leave Insight and sign with them.
That was actually part of the deal. Actually, like, oh, hey, we can put he's like, we can put your name forward. I was like, nah, sorry, I've got my own management company already. I'm doing it with them.
What a power move for like Toupuria the next press conference to be like, I got your boy signed, not even you. I'll stir that up. So you've mentioned too that the Volk will be cornering you.
Yeah.
How does that feel that like your fight matters, but there's always like a bigger story behind it?
I think it's great because like realistically, I think if you like go over the last fair few years of UFC, like there's very few times where you have like a debutant versus a debutant, which has this much hype on it. Like realistically, like, this is going to be like one of the like biggest, besides probably the main and co-match, probably the biggest talking point of the event. Like realistically, it's like even like it's already gaining lots of tractions. Like Embedded's coming down tomorrow to start the filming and everything like that. So it's already big. So I'm just
Shit.
Yeah. So I'm just very excited for it. It's just a storyline.
All this card's really shit because I had UFC Countdown hit me up too and go, hey, can we use a clip for the show? And I'm like, fuck, no one's talking about this card, are they?
I can't say that now because I'm on
it. Well, I mean, when I found out Cody was going to fight him, I was like, man, you're going to be a superstar. Because I was like, when you win, I was like, you're going to be skyrocketed. With you coming in, it's added, like you said, it's added even more hype to this. I've never seen two debutants have so much pressure going into a fight.
Honestly, there's probably not like realistically, there's probably going to be not another situation like, especially having like the champ and the former champ, and then I'll have obviously like Craig Jones in my corner as well, and I don't know who else. There's going to be like star-studded lineups in the corner, so it's just the whole narrative around is going to be pretty sick.
You got Craig Jones in your corner.
Yeah.
Jeez, you're just stacking it, aren't
you? Yeah. All the chips in my favor.
Jeez, hopefully he doesn't get drug tested.
He has to stay away from it. He can't sweat him in fight week.
That's great. It's a post-fight. Just get away. Get away. Yeah. That's crazy, man. Well, I mean, how does prep go for 2 weeks? I know we talk about stay ready, but realistically, you can't simulate getting ready for a fight. Like, you just can't.
Oh, no, I think because I've honest to God, I've been in camp for the past 5.5 weeks. So I've been doing like the Shark Tank sessions, the Spider session, the sparring, like my weights.
Really?
Yeah. No, we thought this was like, we sat down, Joe sat me down and said, this is probably a decent possibility. And like, realistically, I was going to fight in Hex 4 weeks after. So I was like, let's just do an extended camp. If the UFC falls through, we'll just take that 1.5 weeks off deload. Then you got like your championship camp. So like, it's cool because like, people don't listen to my interviews. So they're going to be like, oh, it's a 2 weeks notice stepping up. But it's like, I've been in camp, like probably cliche. I'm probably like one of the fittest and healthiest versions of myself I've been in a very long time just because I haven't had that. Because there's a stress of fighting, there's a stress of fight camp. But because I've only had the stress of fight camp without the actual fight, I feel like this just helped sort of not put so much pressure and everything on myself. Whereas now it's come up, it's already been 7 days since I've got the news. So in 8 days, I'm going to fight. So it's a lot less time worrying about everything they can do. Like I've done everything I can. I've got myself fit. Now it's just go out there and fight.
Yeah, it's like when Volk stepped up on short notice or whatever. Like, yeah, he was training, but he wasn't like in camp. He even said himself, where it's like you don't have to worry about that. Oh shit, what do I do? We can't spar. It's 2 weeks out. I just got to get fit. Like you're just kind of like you've secretly, if anything, it's unfair. You've been training for him and he hasn't.
It's unfair if you don't bet on me on sports bet. That's where it's unfair.
Do you have odds yet? Have you seen them?
I saw some Spanish thing. I don't know. It was like American, so it was like plus 250 or something. So I don't know.
Oh, that means you're gonna lose, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose a lot of Spanish people money and make my mates heaps of money.
Have you been like had too many people in the comments messaging you, Georgian flags, Spanish
Oh, bro,
flags?
go on the thing where I said staying ready. Like, it's the most comments I ever got, and 80% of it's probably against me. It's great. It's just engagement, though. I love it.
Oh yeah, because like I talked to Cody Haddon and he had a similar thing, and then his teammate Quillan Southfield, who's taking on Anshul Jubilee, who's Indian.
Yeah.
He said he's like it is insane when you take
Yes.
on another guy from another country. The whole country hates you.
Yeah. They actually, one of them managed to like go through my thing, find my girlfriend, and then started sending her Spanish flags too. So like these guys, they go deeper. They go. She's like, "Do you know who this is?" And I was like, just as the rumors are starting, she was already getting there.
Oh, but yeah, it was so funny. I saw a guy had a Spanish flag in his picture, and look, it was a very mean comment, but I'm gonna be honest, I did laugh when they did a side by side picture of you with Volk at the like grappling comp when you were like 13,
Yeah.
and then a picture of you basically getting signed, where a Spanish guy goes, "Good on him for beating leukemia."
Yep. There were quite a few of them jokes there. Yeah, there was quite a few of them.
That's fucked.
I was like, I wonder if everyone would get the wrong idea about this photo. I think I was like Volks Make a Wish kit or something.
No, it's not. Would you have rather it happening like this, or would you have rather gone through the contenders, had 12 weeks to talk about it? Yada. It's like, or are you really loving this moment?
Oh, this is the like storyline perfect debut. Like I realistically don't think you could script like a debut better like this, especially like I don't even know how many of the Aussies and Anzacs assigned now got to debut on a pay-per-view in front of their hometown. So like it's pretty incredible how this all played out.
Yeah, it is great. I like it because there's two other guys that are ready, right? Like a George Mangos and a maybe a Jacinta Austin, right? Who are
Yeah.
like Sydney. And I was like, okay, maybe that works really well. And then you coming in, it's a really like it's a beautiful moment, and it's kind of like why we love this sport because it's all set up for you, and because you have like people support you in Australia, right? But you got a lot of fucking critics as well, and you know that.
Yeah.
So you get to prove them like all wrong. And it's
Yeah.
like this could launch you into the stratosphere. And do you like that sort of pressure?
Yes, I do. I think I think where I want to go in the sport and what I want to achieve, the pressure's going to naturally come with it. So as I always say, your next fight's the most important fight. But the cool thing about this is that I'm getting a lot more pressure than's probably expect. Like you said, it's probably the most pressure on two debutants ever in the history. And I think like just to get to experience what's that like all the cheers, all the boos, all the fight week stuff, everything like that, even just a narrative and a social behind it. Like I'm almost happier it's played out like this because realistically, some guys have to get 5, 6 fights into their career to sort of start to feel this and sort of get all this attention out of them. I get it on my debut. It's pretty magical, I think.
Yeah, and it's like to explain people where people might be going, hey, no, like Brock Lesnar had a bit. It's like not that debut. It's a different type of debut. You guys are coming in at a level where you shouldn't have attention. Both of you should, no one should care. You don't have profiles coming in. You're just guys that are on the regional scene and you finally get your chance. And it's like, you're exactly right. This pressure is fucking unheard of. Like if you can eat this moment, like the sort of the world is your oyster. I'm also almost scared now interviewing you because I know how many Spanish people and Georgians are probably watching, and I'm a bit like, do I delete the old interviews that had me critiquing you doing war crimes on Balinese people? I'm like, we've talked about your concussions. I'm like, do I edit that out?
We've all broke my back. Target is back. He's got a weak back.
That's what I mean. I mean, we spent too much time doing that. I got to go back and like scrub it. Like, when someone runs for president, they like scrub them on the internet. Like, I've got to get rid of any bad shit we've ever said. Or do you sort of almost like embrace all that sort of shit?
Oh, I embrace it. Like, I think it's great. Like, people can, like, I'm a very open book with every aspect of my life. Like, as much as like I love this and it's my career, it's what I do for the rest of my life. Like, I'm very good at separating like who I am as a person to what I do for my career choice. So like as much as all this attention is great, like it doesn't change anything as soon as I'm outside of the gym, or even when I'm in the gym, I'm still the same person. It's just like you said, it's just cool to have all this extra and that attention on me, where I don't feel like I have to play a persona on or off camera. I just get to be authentically myself, and then whatever comes of it, like I'm very sort of welcoming to it. I just want to experience it all.
Are you aware that, you know, from the outside looking in, it looks like you got signed by the UFC just to duck Emrahan Hekimoglu?
I feel like that's why he's got rid of his socials and everything. He's gonna cash in the money in the bank after I win next Sunday. We're gonna have a glass shatter Stone Cold, and he's just gonna come out with his briefcase hanging.
Oh, Colby Thicknesse. What a journey, man. This is like, at times I'm sure you've probably thought, you know, in the last 18 months to 2 years, since I've been doing this and you've been in the forefront of Australian MMA, there's been times where we thought like you might not fight again with injuries and ribs and knees and concussions and all that sort of stuff. Was there a time where you got a little worried?
Not necessarily, but like I'll be honest, like come Saturday morning after I finished sparring, like I wasn't worried in the sense, but I was like pretty agitated because like we had heaps of like names and everything for Hex. Like we've been looking for the past 2 months, and Hex didn't have anything. I'm like, fuck, we're gonna have to wait to go back to Chengdu in April if they can find me somebody. And I'm like, I'm fit, I'm healthy since my last fight. So like I said, I've had periods of inactivity where it was within my control, but like I couldn't help it because I was injured. But it was really just like it's been pretty good. But then last Saturday, just like with training and everything, I'm just like, fuck's sake, like just want to get a fight. Like I'm fit, I'm healthy, I'm ready. I'm doing a camp. I've got nothing fucking locked in. I was having a whinge, and then fucking 8 hours later, I'm like, I'm probably fighting UFC in 2 weeks' time. So it's what's so crazy, bro.
Did you, when you got that message and everything and you went back to work, did you tell anyone at work, like, fuck, I might be in the UFC soon?
No. I was sadly doing a shift in my car by myself, just watching the school for 10 hours I got broken into. So I couldn't tell anybody either. Like I just had to go home, say hi, hey mum and dad, and then just go about my regular business until the next day.
What do you do? Talk me through the situation as well. Because, like, you know, we're kind of on the same team, but then there's also times where I need to post shit that you might not like or you might not want or all that sort of stuff. What do you do when you start seeing like people like myself posting that fuck Colby might be in the UFC? Are you like, fuck you, man, or are you like, shut up? Like,
No. So I was funny. I was actually talking to Tara. I thought it was good because like most of the time, like there's like rumors and then it gets announced, and you're like, see, I think you get like different stages or like the attention. But I got all the attention Cody was out. Then I got all the attention that Colby's ready, could step in. Then I got like the third layer of, oh no, he's actually in there. And then it's like the fourth one came when they realized like the storyline behind it. And now it's just like building. So I think it's great. I love as much like stuff that I can get there out of possible. I can't reply to messages, obviously. But I just have to stay quiet and just observe everything.
did you enjoy my don't reply if you're in?
Yeah, I might leave undelivered. If I read it, there's probably a sign.
Hey, does the UFC go, hey, fucking don't tell anyone?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, yeah, don't say anything till like we come out and announce it. Because they all announced it, what was it? I don't know, whatever morning it was at like 7. But before they announced it on like their socials, I did Fox and that the night before, just like over the phone interviews. So I was like waiting for 7 for the post, and like Fox posted it. A couple of MMA sites already picked it up, and I'm like, fuck, UFC hasn't even posted it. And like all this stuff's getting out about it.
I've got to ask you this tough question because we did talk about it last time. We said that coming off the back of these fights in Bali, you wanted to be more tested when you got into the UFC, and you said you probably wouldn't feel as good because you weren't coming off as big a test coming into the UFC. Do you still feel that heading into your UFC debut?
I think this is the perfect test to just show everybody where I'm at. The thing is, even though the level of same for my opponent, the level of competition he's faced hasn't been probably what he's his caliber of as a fighter as he is. But my thing is, like I've said before, like I know the level I'm at because like I know the people I train with, the looks I get in day in, day out. Like I know my performance in the fight simulators. I've seen it all before. I've trained with legit best people in the world for a very long time. So all I have to do is take that version of myself, show up like him next Sunday, and then I don't think there's many people on the planet who can beat me.
And in terms of what we can expect UFC 312 in Sydney, what will we see from Colby Thicknesse?
You're probably gonna no, you are. You're gonna definitely see the best version of myself because I shine. Even it's a good example when you spar newer people. Sometimes it's like awkward and you're just a little bit more relaxed in there, and they can catch you with little sort of things that normally wouldn't get you. I know that when the lights come on and I'm facing these, even in the room, very high level elite guys, I always rise to them. So I'm very excited to have this sort of opponent in front of me with this pressure, with all these circumstances, and I just get to go out, do my thing next Sunday and show out.
And finally, mate, as you head into this UFC debut, I almost want you to, because we'll do this interview when you retire in 10, 15 years' time. And I want you to almost, as you head into your UFC debut, send yourself a message, and we'll watch this back in 10 to 15 years. But what message do you have for a Colby Thicknesse retiring from the UFC? What can we expect, and what do you have to say to him?
Say to my future self, I would say be proud of how you went through all of the adversity and all of your setbacks just to get to this point, and just make sure you don't make it any bigger than it is, and just go out, have fun, and just enjoy the whole process. Like, it's been your dream for 20 years, you worked your whole life with this, just go out and enjoy it.
Well, mate, the world works in very weird, mysterious, and poetic ways. And like Volk said, there's no one who deserves this more. You have earned this moment. I am so fucking excited. And I know it sounds condescending, but I'm fucking proud of you. And I can't wait to see what you do come UFC 312 in Sydney.
No, thank you very much, brother. Colby Thicknesse is about to show out.
I love it, brother. See you there.
Cheers, brother. Take care.